you work for?
I work for Department of Homeland Security, DHS.
Okay, and that's an umbrella for...
It's for, ERO, HSI, Customs Border Patrol.
Okay,
It's a
so
big
which
word.
one do you follow?
Oh, ERO.
ERO?
Mhm.
What does that stand for?
Enforcement, Removal, Operations.
What is your position or your title?
Deportation Officer.
Deportation.
Alright, okay. How long have you been with DHS?
Since 1988, May of 98.
So,
Yeah, this is my last year.
is it?
Yeah, and that's not the way I wanted it to end, but...
So you're going out,
With Hector Huerta, we're gonna, in December 17th.
oh, so you're gonna do the whole year?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the whole year, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's the plan.
Alright, Jose, do you know why you're here?
Yes, about the incident.
Okay, about the incident that happened on, the 4th
The
of
4th.
February
Yes.
of this year. So what can you tell me about that? What was your involvement?
Okay. So that morning, myself, Matt Rodriguez,
Mm-hmm.
and Tom Belcher, we were at the office, and we were going to do surveillance. So Matt and Tom got in the surveillance van. They were going to go set up south, I believe, of the target's house, and I was going to be a little bit north of there to follow any vehicles, just to kind of get, see where they're going, or he's going.
Okay.
He called out a vehicle, I followed it, I lost it, came back, and then he calls out another vehicle, I follow it, I lose it, because I was by myself.
Okay.
Little while later, Israel Signs,
Mm-hmm.
he's with Luna County SO, he gets on the radio and says, hey, I'm available, what's going on? So we tell him, hey, trying to follow these vehicles. We do a group text and send out pictures so we know what to look for. He finds it, the vehicle. So he goes, hey, I got a good spot, I'm going to set up on it. So I park at the hospital. Matt and Tom are still at the house watching it. And then, so they go there, Israel parks there. And then at some point he says, hey, I see him. And he goes, I saw a gun. I saw them hand a gun, or I saw a gun. So we're like, okay, we know now.
Who said this?
Israel.
Okay.
Israel. He like I said, he had eyes on the house itself. So we sit there, wait, and we're just kind of doing the group text, talking on the radio. Then Joshua Lauder, he's another specialist. He comes on there and says, hey, where do I need to go? So he set up east of town at the Holiday Inn, I believe. And then a little while later, Dominic Magaletti, the other specialist, he said, hey, I'm available too. So they both set up on the east side of town. At some point, Josh said, hey, I have to cut out. So Don took a point there at the east side of town. And so we just sat there basically. He said, hey, let's just not spook the guy. Let's just let him do his thing. I believe it was Israel that called out, said, hey, that white truck is leaving. Okay. I don't recall if he said he was in it or not, but, he goes, well, let's just see where it goes. A few minutes later, Dom calls out the truck. He says, hey, the truck's getting on the road. It's headed east on I-10. Okay, so I break off where I'm at, and I get on I-10, start heading to back him up. Matt calls me on the radio and says, hey, dude, just step back and park at the Holiday Inn in case he's not in the vehicle. And, it's somebody else. Like, all right. So I pull off, I wait, I'm there for a couple minutes. Eddie Pacheco, my group supervisor, he calls me on the phone, and he says, hey, about a case that I had, and I start talking to him, and then I hear Dom just yell out, "Officer down." I don't know if I heard it once or twice, but I tell Eddie with paycheck, I said, hey dude, did you hear that? He goes, what? I said, Dom just yelled at "Officer down." I threw my phone and got on I-10. I was calling out the mile markers, mile 87, just to let them know. At this point, I didn't know. All I heard was mile marker, or I think he said 102. Somebody said 102. I didn't know what was going on. I hauled ass. I never heard Dom again. I think he might have at one point said something. I can't catch up to him. So I'm calling out the mile markers. I think Eddie or somebody said something. I said, hey, I'm going to be there in like 10 seconds. I get to the mile marker. I see that Rio Grande something transport, medical transport. So I saw the unit, and so I didn't know what to do. So I stopped, and then I think I said, hey, on scene. I get out, and I see the driver of that van off on the side, and as soon as I look to my right, I see the officer and the two guys, working on the officer. So I run up there. I think I yelled out HSI because I was in plain clothes and just, the way everything was going, and they looked up at me, and I said, hey man, what's going on? Well, I grabbed some gloves, and I started helping with CPR, we were bagging them, and Israel Signs was on the access road, on the shoulder road, and he was just, I think he told me at one point, he goes, look, I didn't go because I didn't know if this guy was going to turn around. So I just provided cover for these guys. So he stayed off on the side. We're doing CPR. They said they already called 911. At some point, Eddie and Chris show up. I just look up and I see them. We're still doing, rendering aid. EMS shows up. And then they take over the native air where the helicopter arrives. Mm-hmm. And by then, people started showing up. And I just turned over, the paramedics, and everybody was there. So that's when I walked away. And I just stood off to the side,
Okay.
Try to compose myself.
Doing okay? You need a break there?
I just need to get it out.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, Jose, when did you guys start putting this operation together? Do you know?
It was actually the day before. We stayed out late to see if we could catch them coming in from Arizona. Mm-hmm. So we were out that night. And then that's when, the way I understood it is that everything was going to happen either at the Loves, I guess. I didn't know about the TNA till later on.
Okay.
So our thing was basically, since we were kind of a skeleton crew, was like, look, just follow him, shadow him, and make sure that he makes it, 2 cruises or wherever. Let Vic, the UC, do his thing, and then we would just back off. Okay. So, yeah, when I heard he was stopped, I wasn't sure what to think because Matt was handling everything. We were just basically the support. You know, so I don't, I have no idea how, you know, Officer Barrett was there. I don't know, I can't give an answer to that.
Did you have knowledge about the briefing the following morning?
I know they were gonna brief in Las Cruces, and so to keep some of us back, as far as the briefing for us, we didn't have that I could, you know, it was just basically that night, we waited, and finally, and I said, hey dude, I guess he made it into town, so let's just go ahead and knock off, and then, you know, we'll start in the morning. And that was about it till, like I said, the following morning we came in, and it was just us three, so I texted Eddie, I said, hey man, we're going out, we're gonna sit on the house and wait to see what happens in the tip war. And then that was...
So the following morning you were just sitting on the house doing all that surveillance and all
I
that?
was trying to follow him just to see what he was doing and
Okay.
what he was gonna do.
So, how much information was provided to him about the suspect and our target? How much
Oh,
information?
yeah, no, I mean, we saw his, you know, his picture and stuff, and we knew that he was a night felon, that he did some time in prison.
Okay.
When we did the first bywalk, I heard somebody said that he had told either Juan or Vic, you know, because they saw the gun and they were sending pictures just to know, hey, because the whole fentanyl thing, I don't know if you guys, you know, they can't let that walk. So at that point, we're like, okay, we're going to get ready just in case. And then after the fact, after we come back, you know, Vic gets the fentanyl. Somebody said, hey, you know, he had mentioned, I'm not going back. So we're, okay, well then, he's, you know, he's serious business. So that's what we knew about him, and, you know, that's why we were just going to let SRT do the takedown. We were just going to be the support.
So that's the way you anticipated, or you were provided the ops plan was to take down in Cruces. That was the first and only plan you heard?
Yeah, from what I heard, it's going to happen in Cruces.
Okay.
Talos or wherever it happens, and we were just going to, you know, sit back and just let them do their thing, and, you know, we'll sit back. That's it.
So to your knowledge, were you guys anticipating a traffic stop being conducted?
I don't know if about that. I just know that, I guess wherever they're going to meet, that's where they're going to take it down, I believe. But, you know, if they actually did do the meet, SRT was going to hit the car or truck or whatever he was in.
Okay.
The traffic stop, I'm not too sure on that. I mean, that's, you know, because Matt was handling all that. We were just kind of the support. To, you know.
Basically, you would tell the vehicle that would leave at least whatever he needed so he wouldn't move from his surveillance position?
Yeah, because they were sitting there and we didn't know what, you know, he had already switched up vehicles, I guess, from what they were saying is that he came in that white truck as opposed to that silver SUV or whatever that he usually drives. So at that point, we're like, okay, well, let's see what he leaves in, you know. I had no clue.
Okay.
You said it was Matt, and who else was with Matt in that one? Tom
Belcher.
Okay. And then Israel was he in an unmarked or was he in?
Yeah, he was in an unmarked.
In his
also.
marked?
Unmarked.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's the one from Luna
County, so.
Joe, did you have any contact with any state police officers or anything like that?
So, Trey Reed, I call him Big Country.
Yeah.
You know, when we're following him around, I had texted him and I said, hey, BC, good morning, what's going on? And then he replies, Tierra Grande, what's up? I said, hey, you can help us with this op? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. And like, I don't, you know, we've been friends for a long time, and I said, hey, dude, come on, you're white, you're tall, you know what's going on, you know. He goes, no, dude, seriously, what's going on? And then I didn't reply to him again because we started following the vehicle. When we're at the scene, he pulls up and he looks at me, and I'm like, just, you know, it's like, he's like, oh, I guess it dawned on him, okay, this is what I was talking about when I texted him earlier in the morning. But I never talked to him. I was just, you know, I just figured, hey, are you in on this op thing? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So,
Other than Trey Reed, did you speak to anybody else? Or
oh, no,
text
just
anybody
Trey.
else?
Just Trey, yeah.
Okay. And he didn't know anything was going on?
I mean, he just, I don't know, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I didn't reply to him again because we, you know, hey,
Okay.
we need to keep an eye on the truck or.
Okay.
What was your means of communication when you guys were out there in Deming?
So in Deming, we were on our radio in the car.
So you guys are using the radio?
The radio and text, just because they were set, so they could put stuff out, you know. And then, hey, I'm over here. I think I saw him go by Walmart, or I'll sit here and wait. So text and radio.
Do you know if that communication was being relayed? Anything happening in Deming, was it being relayed to the Cruces team as well?
If Tom and Matt were doing it, I wasn't aware because our thing was just to try to follow the truck.
Gotcha. So the text thread you guys had was just for you guys, the Deming people,
That
right?
day was just, it was just us three, and I think then Israel and I think Dom and those guys eventually got included in the group text.
Now, over the radio, can you hear like the local agencies?
No, because I mean it's just us. We're just on 5 Bravo, and it's just to avoid any other chatter and people walking on us. So it was just us 3 or 4 talking.
So over that radio, you wouldn't hear the stop being made or anything like that?
Oh no, that was no.
Okay. Alright, is there anything else you can think about that day?
No, I mean, like I said, at least I was under the impression that everything was going to happen over in Cruces.
Las Cruces.
You know, that we were told, hey, just stay back and let them do their thing. We'll just support, because we weren't marked or anything, you know, just to not hink the guy up.
Yeah.
And that was
And what were you driving that day?
my, it's that Traverse, it's a silver Traverse.
Okay.
No lights, nothing on it?
It does, and I had my lights on, but I mean, it's an unmarked, it's a UC vehicle, so.
So who was our case agent?
Matt Rodriguez,
And the person in charge of him?
Hector Huerta.
Do you know of any other agencies that were going to be assisting with you guys at all, other than obviously the SO,
Yeah.
which...
It was just us, HSI, state police. That was it. I didn't, if anything else was needed.
That's the only information you were providing?
Yeah, just
state police was going to...
State police was going to do the stop, or it was going to go down at the Loves.
Okay.
Whatever happened at the meet, you know.
Was there a specific mile marker that you know that they said that state police was going to do the stop, or?
No, like I said,
It's
it
just
was fluid, you know, just
Okay.
because they didn't know what this guy.
Just rolling with the ball.
Yeah,
however he
it
plays
just
it,
kinda
they were gonna.
go with it, flow with it, you know, just go with it, and where it happens, it happens. I mean,
Okay.
just like you said, it's
And do you know that it was supposed to be 2 cars or just one state police officer?
no, I don't know if
It wasn't like addressed or anything.
no, I mean, if it was addressed in Cruces at the briefing,
Mhm.
like I said, we were
You were over here
Just
busy
and then
doing the surveillance.
making sure he left.
Okay. And you mentioned that you said Israel saw him with a gun.
I believe he saw it, when he
Was
found
it the target?
I don't know if it was the target or the other, his asshole associate or something, but he mentioned, hey, I saw a gun, you know, in his waist pants or something.
Okay. And that's when he was doing surveillance, or
Yeah, Izzy
found
had
the
set
vehicle,
up.
right?
He found, the two, the truck and the red car, and then eventually the white truck. They all met at a house
Okay.
there in town.
Okay, Joe. I don't have any other questions. I think we went over the questions we had. Can you think of anything else?
No, so, but for sure you guys weren't provided a copy of like any of the PowerPoint that they had during the ops meeting, you know how they had the ops
No,
meeting?
I mean, the first
email
time,
you guys?
we saw the ops plan, the initial buy walk, and then that was it, but, I think Mark Valone, he said he did a PowerPoint thing, we never saw that, because, like I said, we stayed back.
They didn't email it to you guys or anything like that?
No, that just, it's gonna be probably just SRT, I mean, those guys are gonna do the hit.
So based on your knowledge, how many people like from your agencies were involved in this?
Our whole office.
Your whole office?
In Deming,
Uh-huh.
the RAC office, and then, I don't know how many they pulled from here, from Las Cruces.
Okay. Because I understand they have people from El Paso coming also to...
Well, that was SRT.
Oh,
I mean, if they had other agents, I
Okay.
don't know.
Is there a number you could estimate about how many people?
From so we're at 9, 14.
14 people involved.
Yeah,
Okay.
give or take.
All right. Joe, thank you for coming. Like I said, I don't have any other questions. You provided good information for us. Better understanding as to what happened. I'm sorry you had to go through what you went through.
So I think you were there on scene. We talked to John, I can't remember his last name, the guy that was surrendering. Did he give a statement? Or I remember. I
think you had him write down a statement and everything. Yeah, I interviewed him there that day, and then I also got the statement from you.
So he came in yesterday. Peer support came out to talk to us, and I said, "Hey man, come on down, and we need to talk," because he saw more than we did.
Yes.
And he asked me. He goes, "Hey dude, are they gonna reach out to me again, state police?" I said, "You know what? That I don't know." I said, "I know. That's why I had you put your number." And I don't know. So I don't know if you guys are still.
Yeah, I think we might reach out to him again just to clarify some things. As we get more information and what we learned about the stop, maybe he might have seen something else that he didn't recall that day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we probably will reach out to him again. But yeah, I do have his number and everything, so. You doing good? Doing okay? Is there
Yeah.
anything we can do for you?
I just, I mean, it sucks, man.
Mm-hmm.
I can still see him. I guess, well, we'll get some closure Friday, but it still sucks balls, man,
Oh, yeah.
But, man, we just...
It's like you said, I was there, I saw him too, and it's like, that you saw him, like, earlier than me, you saw him closer.
My history, I was a paramedic, So when I got there, I mean, even seeing the wound, it's like, we don't give up, man.
Yeah.
And EMS gets there, the helicopter, and finally one of the guys said, "Look, I think we need to call it." That was hard to hear,
Yeah.
But we'll get to this, and just
And if you need to talk or anything, we're here for you.
okay, yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna meet with a couple guys right now.
The guys that went through it, the ones that were there, are the best ones to talk to because they understand more than anybody else,
Yeah, we're like I said, I talked to Ruben yesterday, and I was also part border patrol people were just blowing up my phone. I said, "Look, I need some space because there's they're reaching out to me, so I mean I'm slowly,
And at least it's comforting knowing that you got people.
Yeah,
waiting,
I got support. It just sucks, man. It sucks.
I don't know, you have family, but get away with them and just
family and go to church and just
get out of here, go on a little trip and get your mind clear. It helps. I mean, it's very little, but it's something that'll give you. I mean, you did everything you possibly could, and there's nothing you could have done more that you could. There's nothing else you could have done, and you did everything you possibly could. So just leave with that satisfaction that you did everything you possibly could in your power.
Mm-hmm. No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
But use your family as a. Is that
we've been talking because they live in El Paso, so I'll be there this weekend, so it's like, okay, we'll see. Whatever we can do, it's with this COVID crap,
Yeah.
Have a little cookout or something. Just
good to know, yeah, dude.
Family support is the number one right there.
Mm-hmm. But I hope that helps with this whole thing. Clarifying or filling the blanks. I don't know. I mean,
he did help a lot. Thank you for coming in. Like I said, if you need anything from us, let us know and just reach out.
Okay. So with this guy John, this is I guess a side note. When we were talking to him yesterday, he had to take the day off. He lives in Silver.
Mm-hmm.
And from how he made it sound, his agency, I guess, I don't want to speculate or so, but it didn't sound like he has a lot of support. So he had to take the day off. So he got an email, and I guess LCPD is providing some services. And
correct.
We told him about that, gave him the contact number.
Come down here, tell him to come down here. I know it's a little ways out, but you know what? We have good support down here. We got good people that he can talk to, yes, and that have been in similar situations. Maybe not exactly right, but still emotional and stressful, and that can definitely share information on how they dealt with their incident.
Yeah, he said he smelled gunfire, gunpowder, and then like whatever he told you. He said a little bit yesterday, and it's like,
Yeah, I remember him because he couldn't drive because he stayed there for a while. He was shaking up, and I told him, stay here as long as you need, and I don't want you to get in an accident or anything, so just stay here. And if he's not getting support, I mean, he's a person we need to get support too, because I mean, he saw what he saw. I could tell what he saw because from one of the videos I could see what. At the same time, he was passing what he saw.
Oh, what he saw, okay.
So, I could just imagine what went through his head. And out of all those other cars that passed at the same time, he was the only one that turned around and came back.
He said, because he was like, he said, look, you can't imagine. And Ruben and I both were like, look, we commend you. Somebody else would have just said, I'm out of here, man. You made that U-turn, man. You heard, you saw, you smelled, anybody else would have. And he goes, I couldn't do more to get through. Don't try to figure that puzzle out because it's not going to happen.
That action that he did a lot.
I told him, being a witness was more than you can imagine. But so I don't know if he told me to reach out. I mean, I said, look, we have to, because, damn, you're the first one on the spot. Well, if you guys need me to come back, let me know.
I sure will. Like I said, thank you for coming. Hopefully you didn't have to drive far.
From that, it's okay. I mean, we have a saying in the government, never too far in the government car.
There you go. Especially you have Spotify or podcast.
Yeah, no, I'll put on something here. Like I said, Carlos, I don't know if you guys know Carlos Muertos.
No.
Or Jose Alemán.
Yeah, I do. I know Carlos. I dealt with him. We had a case up in Hachita too.
Okay.
And, he was there. I remember.
Him and Alemán, Jose. So I texted him and said, hey, I got an interview, but afterwards you guys want